Are you sure you know who you are? How are you perceived? The image you've built for years cracks in a second. One turn and the former you is no more. Plans that seemed like a concrete wall have crumbled into dust. Resources you've relied on for years have become worthless in a single day. Shock? You bet. This is the entry of Uranus. It doesn't break you. It breaks the illusion in which you were stuck. Hello, natural-born leaders Leos. You are on the Astrology of the Way channel. Why am I starting so harshly? Because you are used to being masters of the situation. But now, we are entering the zone of influence of Uranus, the most powerful, reformative, and unpredictable planet of our system. This planet changes the rules, and it does not tolerate slowness. Let's figure out why your familiar world has begun to crumble. Uranus acts tough. It doesn't wait for permission and doesn't warn it has no preparation. Your plan for life is no longer worth anything. It has collapsed. Uranus won't let you continue wasting resources on relationships or affairs that should have been thrown into the junkyard long ago. Uranus doesn't ask for consent and doesn't give you time to prepare. Its task is to quickly eliminate everything that has stopped producing results. Sometimes it happens internally, and you can no longer adapt to others and pretend that everything is fine. You physically can no longer force yourself to do what you considered a duty. This is going beyond the usual schedule. This is the moment when you stop being an executor of other people's tasks and start dictating the rules of the game yourself. Events develop faster than you can analyze them. Life shifts into no-brakes mode. Either you control this process, or it runs you over. Life feels like it's being fast-forwarded, demanding instant decisions from you. But when Uranus becomes your ally, it gives you a chance to reach in one day where others take years to go, completely changing your status. You might suddenly receive a new source of income through an unconventional project. Uranus gives you the courage to be yourself, even if it goes against the expectations of loved ones. It grants the ability to find a way out where others see a dead end. This is a time for the rapid implementation of new technologies, changing your career, or moving into a more progressive environment. Often this happens through a sudden acquaintance, or a situation that literally throws you into a new environment. On the negative side, total instability. Life literally knocks the ground out from under your feet, stripping you of a sense of control. This is life on edge, when it's impossible to rely on yesterday's promises. Sudden breakups and impulsive decisions are possible, which you might regret later if they were made purely out of protest. But the main essence of Uranus is always the same. It eliminates the excess, everything that has outlived its time, everything that has pulled you into nowhere for years. For Leos, this is a moment of truth. Uranus is a surgeon who removes your dependency without anesthesia, but for the sake of saving your future. Are you ready? Because from the 26th of April, 2026, the rules change for good. We are approaching the point of no return. Either you claim your influence now, or you watch others build empires on your ideas. Now, let's go back to the past. From 2018 to April 2026, you went through a meat grinder. Uranus was in your 10th house in Taurus. This is your zenith. This isn't about finding yourself. It's about what's written on your business card and how much your word weighs. These are the moments when you transformed from an executor into the one who dictates the law. The 10th house is the highest point of the horoscope, representing the peak of human achievement. These are your awards, ranks, titles, and official confirmation of your expertise. This is how the world and society see you. This is the moment of triumph and publicity. It is your relationship with power. Remember how these years went for you? Ministries, courts, corporations, or petty tyrant bosses who tried to train you like a circus lion. Here, you either broke the system or it tried to run you over. This was your Everest for which you woke up, and your reputation what was whispered about you behind closed doors by those who make decisions. For a Leo, these years became a time when seniority and years of service turned to dust. You were being reset not as a joke, but so you would take off the old tight suit and admit, You no longer work the old way. What situations did you actually face? You spent years building a name in one niche, and then one call, one audit, or one intrigue by colleagues, and your concrete authority reset in a day. A sudden layoff due to reorganization, exactly when you were expecting a promotion. The collapse of a business you considered your fortress. Uranus did this so that a week later, you would head something entirely new. Many of you learned what a glass ceiling and boss tyranny feel like. They tried to squeeze you into a frame, forced you to report every step. Your habit of enduring for the sake of a stable salary became your biggest mistake. Patience for a Leo during these years became dead weight. You were literally thrown out of your profession. You might have been a licensed lawyer or doctor, but Uranus pushed you into IT projects, blogging, or freelancing where you are your own boss. Any attempt to cling to the old chair ended in a hard fall and loss of money. But if you chose risk, you received the power of the new era. These are situations where you are invited to a project not for a diploma, but for your brain and ability to see 10 steps ahead. Your expertise became viral. A single message in a chat or a post online changed the minds of thousands. You realized your status no longer depends on the company brand. You are the brand yourself. Uranus acted as a catalyst. You could sit in the shadow of a deputy for years, and then one bold step, one direct conversation with the owner, and you are already in the director's chair on your own terms. You found a shortcut where others beat against closed doors for years. While the rest waited for approval and signatures, you just walked into the right office and took what was yours. You created your own code. Uranus gave you the opportunity to manage processes from anywhere in the world without office slavery and idiotic meetings. It burned away your fear of important people. You yourself became a new type of authority, followed not by command, but because you are the only one who knows what to do when everything goes to hell. Leos, this has been a colossal journey. Share in the comments. Exactly how did Uranus reassemble your life? What did you achieve in spite of the system? And what dead weight did you have to discard to keep from sinking? Your story could become a guide for those standing on the threshold of their own reset. But remember, the 26th of April, 2026, Uranus finally closes the door of the 10th house behind you. The fight for the chair is over. Your Everest has been conquered, your accolades received, but Uranus says, that's not enough. Leos, get ready, the rules of the game are changing right now. The planet of reformers is bursting into your 11th house in Gemini, turning your professional success to dust if you don't take the next step. If for the last 8 years you were proving to the system that you have the right to power, now all of that becomes secondary. The moment of truth is coming. Either you step out of your office and lead entire communities, guiding people into the future, or the system will erase everything you worked so hard for since 2018. Your task now is not to manage processes, but to manage minds. What is the 11th house? It's not about cozy get-togethers with friends. It's the zone of your scale on a global level. If the 10th house is the boss's office, the 11th is the stadium listening to your speech. This is the house of the future, the house of like-minded people and your most daring plans that previously seemed like science fiction. This is the territory where you stop being just a manager and become an ideologue. The 11th house is responsible for social networks, internet empires, social movements, and the cast of people who change the world. This is your ability to make connections that open the doors to any office without knocking. Situations you will face during the Uranus transition. Uranus in the 11th house works like a high-voltage discharge. Old friends and partners with whom you were connected only by the past can disappear in a week. If people don't pull you into the future, Uranus will burn those ties without warning. In their place will come people of the new era. Its specialists, reformers, those who think in terms of centuries, not quarterly reports. Your long-term goals that you built for years may reset. You will suddenly realize that the old dream no longer ignites you. Uranus will throw you a project that at first seems like madness, but it will be exactly your pass to the major leagues. If in the 10th house you managed processes, in the 11th you will start managing opinions. This is a time when your expertise goes online and becomes viral. A single post or video of yours can gather an army of supporters or crush someone's reputation. Uranus in Gemini will demand speed from you. You can no longer spend years maturing. You need to instantly catch trends and make the right connections. You no longer adapt to the collective, you create the collective for yourself. For a Leo, this is the transition from I am the boss in this office to I am the leader of this generation. This is a time when your ideas start bringing not just a salary, but colossal social capital. Imagine the situation. You accidentally end up in a private chat or at a conference where in one evening you make connections that others take decades to achieve. These are calls from the future when top reformers or investors find you themselves because they need your brain. One such meeting replaces 10 years of sitting in an office. That is how Uranus works in the 11th house. Uranus also provides profit through technology. This is the case where you create a single digital product, launch an online school, or an automated service, and it brings in more than your entire previous career. You transition to an income that drips while you sleep. This is financial freedom, where you no longer sell your time for a fixed salary. Uranus in Gemini gives you a nose for trends. You enter a new niche, AI, new media, crypto technologies when they are still being laughed at, and a year later you are the only top expert in the field with a check 5 times higher than the market. You are always one step ahead of those used to working the old-fashioned way. You finally find people with whom you don't need to play a role or keep face. You create a circle of like-minded people around you. This is your personal special forces unit. When the system is stormy, your audience and your people are your concrete foundation that won't let you fall. But be on guard. One careless word online, and yesterday's allies turn into fierce opponents. They may try to cancel you for views that don't fit the current agenda. For a Leo, this will be a test. Can you take the blow when entire communities stand against your authority? Expect a stab in the back from those you considered comrades. People you brought into a project may suddenly unite against your leadership. This is a time when group interests become more important than personal loyalty, and you risk being left alone with your ideas. Uranus in Gemini hates plans. Forget about control. Servers will crash at the moment of launch, key partners will vanish before signing the contract, and schedules will go to hell. If you try to cling to stability, you will get a short circuit and losses. You risk chasing hype and investing resources in projects that will burst in a month. The 11th house will slide you hundreds of brilliant schemes that in reality turn out to be information junk. Leos, the 11th house does not forgive stagnation. If you try to hide in a shell or cover yourself with old accolades, Uranus will give you a shakeup. You need to be mobile and have an ice-cold head so as not to burn out in the rays of your own popularity. Leos, the 26th of April, 2026, is your takeoff point. Are you ready to trade the status of office owner for the role of a leader of the global community? Write in the comments, do you already feel your old goals crumbling, giving way to something truly massive? To sum it up, dear Leos, the period since 2018 was your survival school on the vertical of power. You learned to take hits, build a career, and prove to the world that your name is a mark of quality. But from the 26th of April, 2026, Uranus changes the scale. Now your field of activity is not an office, but the whole world. Your main conclusion for the coming years: status without like-minded people is a golden cage. In the 11th house, Uranus will not let you rest on the laurels of past achievements. If you continue to play the lone king, the system will reset you. But if you risk going out to the people, becoming the voice of a generation, and implementing technologies that others are even afraid to dream of, you will become unreachable. Remember, The 10th house gave you power. The 11th house will give you freedom. Freedom to be yourself, to work from anywhere in the world, and to create the future together with those who breathe in unison with you. Don't be afraid that old plans are collapsing in their place. Uranus is building your personal empire of the new time. You are leaders by birthright, and now the universe is giving you the tool to turn that leadership into real influence on the future. Your transformation stories are the best example for those who are still afraid to take a step. Therefore, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you accept this challenge, and subscribe to the Astrology of the Way channel to expand the horizons of this new reality together with me. Believe in your scale. Shine bright. See you in the next episodes.